the security forces are dying, and yet sometimes people don't tend to always remember that people are sacrificing so much for the peace they enjoy. And one thing I want people to also enjoy is please to avoid demoralizing the troops, because if somebody is there day, night, standing morning, evening, night, away from his family, getting injured, and yet he's been insulted, he's been unappreciated. I mean, we're all humans. You know what the tendencies are. This person will say, okay, since I'm not being appreciated, then it's not my business anymore, and that will be dangerous. So please, whatever we're doing, we should always remember that there are people that are there standing in so that we can sleep, so that we can go about doing our lawful work, so that we can go to church, go to mosque, go to market. Without them standing up, it will be extremely difficult for that. We might not even get the chance to do that. We have seen what other war zones, what is being done, how troops are being suffering, and how civilians are also suffering. To mention the incident in Kaduna, highly regrettable. It shouldn't be our task, our mandate is to protect civilians, not to kill, maim, or destroy anything. And that particular time, we're on the heat of pursuing some bandits within that general area, and unfortunately this happened. I'm happy the President, Commander-in-Chief has instituted a committee that will look into it critically so that they can also advise how to go way forward and how to prevent in future. And then whatever it is, we know the casualties so that they can also be compensated. I assure all Nigerians that the armed forces of Nigeria is here for Nigerians. And we want Nigerians to take ownership of the armed forces of Nigeria. We are not aliens from other countries. We are Nigerians just like every other person here. We have friends, aunties, fathers, mothers, uncles, grandfathers here. So we will not want any harm to befall anybody. I want to also appeal that when you see something not going right, please report. Even if it is our troops that are not doing the right thing, don't just keep quiet and pass by. Because whatever you see and you pass by, which means you have approved it. If you want changes, report so that we can take action. And we want to take action. I always mention that wherever we operated, we have standing court martials. The court martials not to scare anybody, but to tell you that if you err, if you commit any offense, there are punishment. But we'll investigate thoroughly and ensure it is that you have committed such an offense, and then you will face the music. We want to always compliment our troops when they do well, so that we can also encourage them to do more. And then anybody who errs knows the music. Once again, I want to thank you for this opportunity. We're here, we'll listen to your questions, and then we'll give you appropriate answers, we'll give you answers. Do more. So thank you. And yes, last year by this time we were at the theater, and the press actually did so well in assisting us in getting the successes we achieved in the Northeast. And similarly, that's what we're also appealing for the same thing to do so that we can also achieve nationwide. Let me start with the first one. You know, the officers that committed this offense, we don't want to say anything now since there will be an investigation. And we know our procedures. If they are found guilty, there will be punishment. And I can assure you that we're going to be transparent about it. The members of the committee, I'm sure they will not even be members of serving armed forces. So that one, so that we can have that fairness in the purpose. So let's await to do that. And we have been punishing. It's just that probably because maybe most times you don't get to know. I'm sure you know in Maiduguri we have jailed a lot of people. I have a lot of my personnel in jail. Court martials have sent them to jail. And it's open, you can go and verify. The armed forces, we do not shield offenders. You commit an offense, you go for it. And that's why you see we have that level of discipline, because anywhere they know that you commit an offense, we take action. You are going to be investigated thoroughly. If you are found guilty, you are going to be punished. You will face the law. That will not hide. About the killing of Kachala, yes, we have a lot of human intelligence around which have confirmed that he has been killed. But we want to be able to see physically, and then before we know that official broadcast on it. But I can tell you from human intelligence, which always give us feedback when we conduct operations, they've confirmed that he has been killed. But we don't want to go there. That's why officially we don't see we have brought it out. But as soon as we clarify that, we'll let that. On the issues of editors, yes, you know, you have challenge editors who want to get information. Everybody wants to be the first to break the news. But please, let us just hesitate a bit so that we don't break the wrong news. because now there's a lot of falsehood everywhere. Fake news, falsehood, everywhere flying. So let us not be the ones carrying those things. If you don't get any detailed information about it, please be careful. Get across to us. No matter how late it is, we'll respond to you. If we don't have the details, we'll tell you to wait. When we clarify, we'll get these issues and then we'll do that, because we don't want to give you any false news. Somebody mentioned the issue of the incident, whether there is synergy. There is synergy. We have, for this set of myself and my service chiefs, we have operated very, very closely. Maybe when the incident happened, there was not enough information. And whoever was it that responded, it was the choice of words. It wasn't that it was intent, it was the choice of words that actually made it seem as if there's some conflict. There is no conflict. We're one armed forces of Nigeria, and we're going to continue to operate jointly. We have seen that we are going to also be able to harmonize more on our own operations, because we run over thousands of operations in every day. So what we need to do is also to make sure we do that. And I can tell you, most times why this, especially in the North, is why operations keep on going for a very long time, and then the tendency you hear people telling you is because we are benefiting. Nobody benefits from dying. I'm losing men every day, and I have nightmares. When I close my eyes, I know that I've lost my officers, I've lost my soldiers. To go home and talk to the worst thing for every commander is when you want to go and explain to the families of the commander that they've lost their breadwinner. It is the worst thing that happens to a commander. So when I hear people talk as if these human beings, their lives don't matter, it really affects us a lot. And that's why we're appealing to Nigerians, that please consider that these troops that are sacrificing themselves are also dying. They have families, they have children that also were looking forward to seeing them, and they can never see them anymore. They have lost them forever. So I think that will do a great deal if we fine-tune how our response is to. So punishment, we do punishment. We all know if you go to jails, all the jails, you will see military men that have been sent to jail. We do that. We don't hesitate to do those issues. Issue of synergy, that one is due. All we need to do is to enhance it more. And like we said, we are dealing with machines, make mistakes. The weather sometimes affects our operations that we do not have control over. And then human error, because we are human beings. So we cannot rule all these things out, but it will never be a deliberate thing for a military man to stand up and aim at a group of people and kill them. It will never happen. It has never happened. We'll never do that. So I think this was just one of such mistakes. On the issue of Nnamdi Kanu, well, the courts always have the final say. We just obey what the courts say. So if the courts say this is that, we just implement. But we want to also appeal to people. There are people that have continued to sponsor these people by contributing money. And you can see that they are not only killing people outside, that they are also killing their own people. So you are giving funding somebody who is also killing you. And I think that would be foolishness. So all we appeal is people should stop supporting them, expose all those ones doing those things, especially people like Samuel Ikpa. He's sitting down there in comfort. Some countries are encouraging him to do what he's doing to Nigeria. And we are here supporting him. So people must desist. We must call what is wrong, wrong. But I know that we're taking efforts to ensure that we secure the whole of Southeast, and we'll continue to do that. We regret the souls have been lost. If you see the way they have killed, these guys are not human beings. They are eating flesh. We have seen them doing cannibalization. We have seen them doing cultism and all these things. So nobody should ever support such kind of people. Because the more you support them, it's like growing a monster. He will come after you. It's just a matter of time. We have seen that happen over and over. So I want to appeal to everyone, never, for whatever reason, for whatever gains you think, support such people. Thank you. I think I've addressed the few questions that have been asked. So I'm assuring Nigerians that we'll continue to put in our best to ensure that there's peace in the Southeast and all other areas in Nigeria.
Thank you very much, sir. More? Yes,
you can always get to them. The intelligence are there. The military police is there. Get all those numbers. Anytime you have any information, please ask. We'll verify for you. That I can assure you. And any interaction with the communities, of course, we do that quite very well. Now, that particular area, that was that general area that there was an attack on NDA a few years ago. It was the same area that also threatened the Kaduna International Airport, that it was closed. So that area is a general area where terrorists move across freely. And like you mentioned, we have situations where they embed, because they too are aware that once they're embedded with civilians, we try not to strike. And so they use that. And like I mentioned, those are some of the areas why this war is prolonged. In those days during conventional warfare, you go to Cape bomb all the areas, clear everybody and start afresh. But nowadays, you can't do that. Look, asymmetric warfare, because they take that advantage. You have a lot of human rights issues. So on several occasions, we have called off strike because we saw them embedded within with children. Now, a few days before that day, there were a lot of movements. You know, a few days before that day, some soldiers were killed within the general area. And we were tracking a lot of the terrorists that were moving on motorbikes, most of them 3 or 4 on top. And a lot of them crossed that area for that period. And there had been some level of interaction within those areas. And then it was the following they were doing. This incident, I'm sure you are aware, happened around 10 p.m. at night. It was not a daytime operation, it was night. These drones were actually following up this movement, and unfortunately, I think there was a mix-up on the movement. And we have some reports we will not, for now, since there's going to be an investigation, we equally want the investigation to bring out these facts. Because we know that general area, there was an interaction between them and the bandits. We know Molid has not held in that place for some years, so we're wondering why that particular night. We knew some of these facts. And so, basically, when the committee investigates, I'm sure these details will come out. But I can tell you it was not deliberate. It was in the act of trying to carry out offensive action against those bandits that this incident occurred. Whether the bandits were embedded with them or not, we don't have those details yet. There are speculations, yes, that they were together. But we don't want to take any speculation. We want to leave it, let the committee find out, and then we know. And I want to dissuade our minds about people looking for punishment. If somebody has done 99 good things and have failed in one, I don't think it's enough for you to be sacrificed. Souls have been lying. Very unfortunate people have died. But we should look at aspect of looking at where are the mistakes. How do we correct them? How do we prevent them? How do we move forward in life? And I think those are the things we should look at. Definitely, if they are found guilty, they will be punished. That's no doubt about that. Now, my advice anywhere I've been to, based on my experience in the military, asymmetric warfare, please don't allow it start in any community, in any country. It is difficult to eradicate because you are dealing with people that is ideological. Now, in the Northeast was ideological. Now, with the pressure that was exerted on them, criminality now came in because we had a lot of cultural issues in the Northwest and the North Central. We know we have issue of farmer headers clashes. We have the Hausa Fulani clashes between them, which is cultural and traditional for a very long time. When opportunities like this come in, criminals will now gather in and take advantage of it. And that is exactly what happened. With the pressure in the Northeast, some of them filtered into that because this farmers' headers clashes was ongoing, ethnic rivalry was going, a lot of things that should have been brought in together. And that's why we mentioned that the issue of good governance, we must not allow anything to fester for too long. Otherwise, impunity will set in. And that's why critically we want to appeal to our political leaders that it is important that when there are issues, let us handle those issues decisively. It makes our job a lot easier. I've always mentioned it that the military solution is only 30%. 70% is good governance, equity, fairness, and justice. Anywhere you apply this, you will have a good community. Now, what are our challenges? I've mentioned the issue of boundary. Our borders are porous. Anybody can come in and go out. So, movement of human trafficking is strife, drugs moving, small arms and light weapons are moving in and out. Nigeria, if you go to Chad, Cameroon, Niger, once you come as a foreigner, they know. Because they have a database, they can identify you. And then there is this security awareness within the public, which we lack. Most times when something happens in Nigeria, we say it's not his business. I'm not the police, I'm not the army. It's a big mistake. Because your life is at stake. That person you left might be the person trying to kill somebody or kill you particularly. So we must develop, even in our schools, from probably primary school, a system that security awareness should be taught so that our generations will grow up with it in their mind, knowing that if we see something that is not right, we must report. Our forests have been left open. Niger State has over 75 forest reserves and 73 forest reserves, mostly unmanned. You don't develop forests and leave them. There must be forest rangers, and that's why you see the NSCDC also developed the agro rangers, just to assist to ensuring that we must take charge of our forests. We mentioned the issue of judiciary. We're not castigating the judiciary. The judiciary is doing very well. But the point we're saying as military men is that sometimes when we bring these facts, things should be done in detail, so that for us, you arrest somebody, do all the things, and the person is released tomorrow. You arrest him next tomorrow, he's released next tomorrow. It makes it very difficult for you to continue to operate, because now you are exposed as a human being. The issue of the police, policing is everybody's responsibility. We must have good policing system, that everybody is everybody's brother. We must be our brother's keepers for us to be able to assist. We mentioned the issue of the correctional system, that our correctional system should be correctional. It should not be where you go and they make them, more criminal-minded. And so all this thing holistically comes to good governance. Anywhere you have good governance together, once the citizens feel they are fully protected, they are well taken care of, they have good health, good schools, and all these things, it brings out this level of insecurity all over the world. And we know there is not only Nigeria that is facing these issues of insecurity. Asymmetric warfare or terrorism is everywhere now. They are spreading fast. Mali, we can see Mali, Burkina Faso, and all this. Everybody is struggling. And that's why it's important that we must unite as a nation and take this as a challenge on all of us, not only on the military building. Because the tendency is most Nigerians think it's a military war. No, it's a Nigerian project. All Nigerians must put hands on deck to ensure that we address this issue. Don't support them. We have seen situations where people are the ones carrying food to go and give them, carrying fuel to go and give them, going to repair vehicles for them, so many things Nigerians are doing. Encouraging those guys to continue the work they are doing. If all of us say no, we cannot support you, tomorrow they will end. If all Nigerians today say we will not support any terrorists or anything, this terrorism will stop. I can assure you that. We have seen situations where funds, because people are making money, they go there because when you go there, whatever it is they are selling in the public, if you get it across to them, they give you times 10. So people are looking at that as profit, not knowing that that is blood money. And you are sharing from it, and God will never forgive you for doing that. On the context, on general terms, we all believe in God in Nigeria. Nigeria is a prayerful nation. And if we believe in God, then we know what is wrong, and we should never support it. And if we don't support it, like I told you, these things will end. Our challenges in Nigeria are man-made. They are not natural disasters. They are man-made disasters. So if all of us together put hands and say, look, we want a new Nigeria, we want to change the narrative, it will happen. So please, I want to appeal to all of us to continue to support us. The military, we're not magicians. We need the support of the populace in order to succeed. I think I've addressed most of the questions. When it will end, it's going down. We're succeeding, no doubt about it. That I can tell you, we're succeeding. Before I left the theater, over 75,000 have surrendered. Now we have over 140,000 that have surrendered. Even the North Central North, some of them have realized that they cannot do, some were lied to, and they're willing to surrender. If we want it to end, like I said, if we want it to end, Nigerians must take ownership of it, and all of us say, look, we're not supporting it. We will never give any support to any terrorists. And this will end. But the military is doing the best. I've been called, after my presentation at the National Assembly, just a few days we went to defend the budget. And those things we brought in came to play. And the senators and the House of Rep members were very appreciative on our frankness. We've been very open to them, and they have a better understanding of what we're going through. And we have the promise that they're going to provide what we require. Troops welfare, which is very, very critical. We have people that have been injured, accommodation issues, uniform issues, and all this sundry. Then the issue of equipment. We do not produce anything. We have to buy all we're buying. And we buy them in hard currency. Even the bullets we buy. We buy them in hard currency. And you know how many rounds of ammunition can finish in a day? If you bring 1 million and there's an operation, within seconds, all this is gone. And there are millions of dollars. So want Nigerians to understand, when they say that they're giving us budget and people think it is such a large amount. Yes, for our standard here, it is. But I can assure you, we are judiciously using every fund we're getting to work, but we do not produce, we do not manufacture this. I've said it, America alone that produces the weapons they are using, their budget for next year is over $800 billion for their budget. So if you look at that and look at what we are doing, we are not producing, we have to buy from them. So those are issues we want to appeal to Nigerians to have this understanding with us. But we'll continue to put in our best, I can assure you that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Towards the end of the year, there are always these issues of wanting to do kidnap for money, or looking for ransom to make money and all these things. So it's just part of it. It's nothing new, but the effort we have been making is that the armed forces have been doing so well. The crude oil production has actually increased from how it used to be. But the challenges we're having is that the communities, it seems everybody is now part of this crude oil issue now. You go to communities that are the ones protecting those bunkers. A lot of the communities do that. You go to a location, we have been to a location where for 5 kilometers, they broke a pipeline and put the pipe to somebody's house. And every day he was removing crude and selling. We are the problems. Now, if you sit down to how did this start, that's another story. But the truth, like I told you, our problem in Nigeria are man-made. If we decide that we want Nigeria to move, Nigeria will move forward. No doubt about that. So these efforts we are making will continue to do that. It's unfortunate that we lost the soldiers and we lost those vehicles. Efforts have been made to track them, to get them back. But like I told you, we have these issues of criminality and all this here and there. So that will continue to do that. Canada and US, it's the same thing. I had this. I have personals that we have lost their children in America because of what? Mass shooting. Do we say we won't go to America because they are doing mass shooting? If we are to count some of these countries that tell us that we are not safe, what goes in their own place? And it is the narrative. I can tell you some of these things is just the narrative. We make ourselves look as if we are living in a war zone. And that's what the whole world will take it that, look, this is what's going on. If you go to such countries, some of them, you dare not even step out. But they give very positive narrative about themselves, and then we accept that. So those are the issues. It's how do we manage our own narratives as a country? You've seen so many people who come and say Nigeria is finished, Nigeria is that. You cannot pray for something bad for yourself. Don't wish yourself evil. It will not go well. But we will continue to do the best we can, and I can assure you that it will continue to get better. Challenges in the northeast, in the southeast, south, yes. We are leveraging a lot on technology. Use of satellite, use of drones, and all this, so that we can track, and so much has been done. You can see that the Navy and all the other troops in the Northeast, including the security, the civil security companies that we're operating with, there's a lot of leverage now around so that we can stop this stealing, this theft of crude oil, which has also affected everybody. I know, in the past, we have seen situations where we arrest ships, we hand over, they are released. You arrest tankers, you hand over, they are released. So now the policy now is, you catch them doing the offense, you destroy in situ. We look at the issue of the environment, but that's the only option. And because we are doing that, it has really reduced. Because now people know that for good, you lose your vessel, you lose your tanker, you lose distance generally. So it makes it, we'll be having issues of, yes, reports of security men taking part of it. We're all from Nigeria. You can't rule out that. We cannot say it's not happening. But what we know is that anybody that is caught will be punished. And we'll continue to do that. We'll continue to put in those efforts. And then we want to appeal to people. Please, when you know and you see these things, report to us so that we can take action. But I can tell you we're sincere about that in ensuring that we address those issues. Engagement with the communities, that one is, like I said, is asymmetric warfare. It's people-centric. Both us and the terrorists are working towards the people. So everybody wants to win the hearts and minds of the people. And that's why we'll continue to do that. As non-kinetic efforts really, really work. Because once the people are with you, they give you all the support. And how do you do it? You go to your community, they don't have water, you provide water. They don't have medical center, you allow them access to it. You take care of all these basic things. You win their hearts. So they are ready to give you information. They are ready not to allow the terrorists use them. They are ready not to give them supplies. And that will actually bring them down. The issue of civilian JTF, like they said, where somebody went and danced and they clapped for him, somebody will go and dance and they will stone him. In the Northeast, we use civilian JTF very well because if you notice, it's a monopolar ethnic group. Most of them are Kanuris. They all know themselves. So it was easier for us to identify the good ones going after the bad ones. In other areas, because of multiplicity of ethnic groups, interest now came in. If you do this, they say, no, it's this one against this one against this one. So it made it a bit more difficult. But we have advised the state governors, if they look at it critically and sincerity without partiality, be able to look at, they can take youths and will train them so that they can defend their communities, working together with the security forces, not to go and attack another community, because that's where the problem always comes in. So that with that, we'll be able to have community policing. And once community policing is on ground, it makes protection quite very well. The incident in Kaduna will not affect our operations. Sometimes we want to strike. There is a coordinate given to you. You can't fly. Why? Because of weather. In the northeast, it happens a lot. Even the terrorists know when to operate when they see the weather is bad. Because they know the aircraft can't go. The drone can't work. So those are the challenges we're having. And so it's not affecting our work. We'll continue to work. Media forces. All right. I think one thing I would just want to also do is sometimes even the way you report issues. For example, during my speech with National Assembly, I was talking about the challenges we are having with when you make arrests and the person is released. The caption the next day, one of the papers was, CDS said judiciary should be banished. So those kind of comments, and then you send the wrong message. Please, let us just learn to understand that whatever we're trying to do is we're trying to get the best for our country, what will make our country grow, not to be destroyed. Because now, before you know it, the judiciary now will take it up that the military is against them, and then so it brings a lot of rancor. Please, let's be careful. Not because of the money. Yes, maybe you want to be front page, but that does not mean you should put things bad just because you want to be front page. I just want to say I should mention that. DICON, yes, mention of Ezgu, MRAP, the Ingirgi, and all those things. Yes, I think a lot of new companies to have come. Local companies are also into production. Some of them need to fine-tune it a lot, because it's not easy for you to just come up. We have encouraged them. The way out is you partner with original manufacturers. Bring them in, develop here. When you work with them for a number of years, you too will have developed the expertise to go through. And I think that's what we're doing. Recently, the president has signed the bill on DICON. So now, DICON is open for business. Anybody, anywhere in the world that wants to produce, come to Nigeria, establish place, start production. We too want to be a producing nation, so that we produce our own, and then other countries can come and buy it. We also bring in additional foreign exchange to Nigeria. Employment, again, opportunities will be rife. So DICON is activated. A lot of companies are coming. We're still discussing. And I'm sure within the next 1-2 years, you will see a lot of things happening from DICON. That I can guarantee. The issue of media tours, yes, very good. I think it's good. We'll look at those aspects so that we can connect you with the commanders on the ground, so that we can go through. I think it's good. It also gives a direct feel of what's really going on in the field. And then people will really understand, the situation on the ground. Like I said, the media, outside media, have made us look as if when you come to Nigeria, Maiduguri, I'm sure if you tell some of your colleagues you went to Maiduguri and you went around, they will tell you it's a lie. Surely is here from Security Watch, a few of you that were here. But you had the freedom to go around and go and to discuss with people and come back and see that there was really nothing was happening. So please, together, my appeal is, this is our country. Let us not ourselves destroy our own country ourselves. We will have challenges, we have challenges. Know that there's no country that doesn't have any challenge. We have our challenge. We will make mistakes because we're human. But let us always try and see how we can make sure that we move forward as a country and make a difference. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for checking out SYMFONI on YouTube. Please be sure to subscribe and like our videos for updates.